Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and for hitting the like button. If you haven't already, why don't you make this the video that you subscribe to the channel? And please don't forget to hit the like button for the algorithm. It really helps out the channel and would mean a lot to me. The first story is called Malicious Compliant Customer Service. Do you know the situation? You call Dish Network customer service and get so mad at the agent that you scream, "I want to cancel my account," and they transfer you to another representative. I used to be that guy. It's not as fun of a job as one might expect, with 99% of the callers screaming at you for any number of reasons that you had no control over. So you had to find a way to keep yourself sane. I stayed near or at the top of the stats leaderboard for customers saved, so I could pull stuff like this. One day, a representative had a caller who only gave him enough information to pull up his account and told him that he wanted to cancel his account. So I pulled up the customer's account and saw he'd been a customer for over 8 years, which meant he was practically VIP. But I pulled up his billing info and saw that for at least the previous 2 years, all those records I had access to, he'd been receiving $25 off his bill every month. The amount you could discount the bill also determined how long the discount lasted. $25 only went for 6 months. So he had called in at least 4 times before this, demanding to cancel his account until he got his $25 off. Now, I'm a man of principle, and I don't believe a person should get rewarded for being a bad person. So I accept the transfer, and this guy came on the phone with the TV playing in the background and being a jerk, but also sounding almost bored with the game, and says, "Cancel my account." Dish approved response: "I'm sorry to hear you want to cancel your account. Can I ask why you're thinking of leaving? Get a reason, make 2 offers to keep him around, then cancel if they still aren't willing to stick around." My response: "I'd be happy to cancel your account." Then I clicked a couple buttons and his TV went absolutely silent. Then I proceed to read the script they give us on how to return the equipment until he shouted over me asking what I just did. "I cancelled your account, per your request, sir. The boxes will arrive in 7 to 10 business days." Again, the dude is outraged, demanding I turn his TV back on. "I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand. Do you want me to cancel your account or not? Because I can turn it back on, but I won't give you a discount of your bill, and I'll be leaving clear notes for any future representatives telling them not to give you a discount either. So, would you like me to reactivate your account, or would you rather I send out the boxes?" As I expected, he told me to turn it back on. At the end, he tried again to get some sort of discount, which I refused, and offered to downgrade his account if he wanted to save money, which he refused and hung up in frustration. If I could have kept tabs on him, I would have, cause I was curious if anyone would reapply the discount or if he would leave. A bonus is I still had a few more confirmations to go through before the account was actually considered cancelled, so the call counted as a save for my stats. The next story is called "Are you sure you demand I join?" A few years back, I started my first job as a mechanic and was informed of a mandatory monthly kart race in a local track, which was promoted by my boss and owner of the company. He didn't care if you enjoyed it or not. He booked the time slot and we all had to show up, after working hours and paying our own tickets to drive. It was supposed to be a team building exercise, and I could see the boss really liked race cars through the various pictures and trophies in his office. During the week, in anticipation to the event, the boss would motivate and participate in setting the mood for the upcoming race. It was the only topic that week, and I was told by colleagues that this was really important. I knew that on the evening of the race I had to pick up my girlfriend, and that would clash with the race. So a couple of days before, I told my supervisor that I would not attend the race. It was after hours and on my dime anyway, so I didn't think it would be a problem. Some 20 minutes later, I'm summoned to the boss's office and he's not looking happy. He tells me that building the team spirit is one of his priorities and that I am new there. So I was to give a lot of focus to this monthly event if I was to keep working there, because it was part of the core culture of the company. I really needed the job, so I just said, "Sure thing, boss." On the evening of the event, I drive to the car track, and upon arrival I see my colleagues all in jeans and t-shirts and my boss in full ballerina attire. He had racing overalls, racing boots, gloves and even a custom helmet. It dawned on me the reason for the event and why so much attention was given to it. Kart racing was his thing. With about 15 racers, I asked to start last. The boss man listens to me talking and intervenes in front of everyone that we were there to race and not to just drive around slowly. Up until that point I wasn't really paying much attention. but I decided to comply and show how much the core corporate culture was important to me. Starting from last, I proceeded to overtake all other cards, including Bossman, on the outside of a fast corner. Overtaking on the outside is often seen as a bold, arrogant move. After just a few more laps, I reached him again, and as I was about to lap him, he went into the pits and stepped out. I duly won the race, and as I left the track into the bar, the real team building event, someone tells me that the boss had left. At the bar, the topic of the evening was how I had outraced everyone and how the boss, who had won all races since ever, was livid with my performance. Too bad for him. I guess I forgot to add to my resume that I had raced cards competitively as a kid, so I knew what I was doing and shattered his Ricky Bobby dreams. After that, I was always courteously invited, but never again required to show up to his events. I went a few times, but arrived late on purpose, so I would just take parts on the bar thing and not the race. The last story is called Sometimes the Stars Align. Many years ago, I was in grad school to get a master's degree in speech communication. I had gotten my bachelor's degree at the same university, so I knew all of my professors in this particular department, including the one who didn't like me as much. In one of our first classes with Professor Katsunyama, not his real name, we were discussing one of the foundational issues with communication. Where does the meaning of a message lie? That is, if I say something to you, does the meaning of the message lie with how I meant it or how you took it? If I call you a big fat baby and make you cry, can I say, "Oh, but I was just joking," and get away with it? Or are your feelings more important because it didn't feel like a joke to you? We spent the entire class debating and discussing this issue. There were people on the how I meant it side and people on the how I took it side. At the end of the hour, the professor says, "In the end, it doesn't matter. Most communication scholars believe that communication is receiver-based, how I took it. So in this class we will work under that premise. It's how you received a message that's important, not how it was sent." Fine, good. I mostly didn't care, because I wouldn't use this in real life anyway. A week later we were given a quick in-class quiz. It only had 10 questions on it, so it wasn't a big deal. One of the questions was worded in a way that there were 2 possible answers. I picked the one I thought was correct, even though an argument could be made for the other answer. When we got the quizzes back in the next class, I saw that I had missed that particular question. It wasn't a big deal, I had only missed that one question. I still got 90%, which was still an A. It was not a big deal at all. I was in a friendly but intense competition with a woman who thought she was a know-it-all. She clearly wasn't one, or she would have recognized that I was the know-it-all. It wasn't even a serious competition and didn't matter to anyone except us. And she had gotten all the answers correct, so she was gloating at me. Now it was a big deal. "Professor Katsunyama," I protested. "My answer was correct. I don't think I should miss this point." "Except it wasn't the correct answer," said Professor Katsunyama. "But it is correct. If you read the question my way, then the answer follows and the other one is incorrect. Except that's not the way I meant it. I meant for it to be read this other way," said Professor Katsunyama. "There comes a time in every person's life when the planets align. God smiles on fools, and something that does not have real-world applications is now the most important piece of knowledge you possess." I was so giddy, I actually pointed upwards like I was about to reveal a profound truth about the universe. "That may be, Professor, but you just told us that for the purposes of this class, all communication was receiver-based. And that it was how we took a message and not how it was sent that mattered. I took the question in this manner, which means my answer should be correct." A hush fell over the room, and Professor Katsunyama's face turned a deep, smoldering red. I worried he was about to have a stroke. "Class is over," he shouted. "Everyone out." I tried to sneak out with the other 8 students. But not you. Oh no. I turned around and Professor Katsunyama stomped up to me. I was 6 inches taller than he was, but I was so afraid I felt 2 feet shorter. "If you were in a PhD program and you embarrassed me in front of the class like that, I'd have you thrown out before the end of the day," he hissed. "And if you ever do that again, I'll do it anyway." Then he stomped back to his office and slammed the door. And all I could think of was that I could rub my perfect score in Mrs. Doesn't Know It All's face. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.